28-year-old Bridget Klein-Simpson has identified as a woman for years, and she wants to get into better shape, so she went to the Bodyworks Gym for Women in Parksville for a membership. Klein-Simpson says she was initially welcomed, but after one workout she was informed she was not allowed at the women's-only gym.
Saying, sorry, we made a mistake, you're not actually allowed to be here, but you're more than welcome to use the co-ed facility. And I kind of just hung up, because I was devastated.
Beep, 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 beep. Breaking news. You are a dude. That's it. That's why you can't go to the women's only gym. You can literally go to any other gym, but you want the attention, so here we are. All right, friends, let's take a little time to find out what other stories are trending left. And we're going to start with a female teacher, an actual female teacher, I do believe, who wants to be like all the cool kids and call herself non-binary. So I guess she's not female, even though she is. And you can tell she's a rebel because she's got the bull ring hanging from her nostrils, So the problem is that she's facing right now is not all of her students can be convinced of the Rainbow Indoctrination, which means it's time to be triggered in 3, 2.
I have a student in one of my classes that's homophobic, transphobic, sexist, purposefully misgenders me. I went to the counselors today. I've been asking for a parent-teacher conference for months now. Hasn't happened. Counselors won't set it up. But when I mentioned the fact that he's misgendering me on purpose, I was told, well, some religions, they don't have to do that because some religions don't agree with that, so they don't have to respect that. Now, I don't know if this kid is religious. I don't think he is, but the counselor sure is. And she made it obvious without directly saying it that she doesn't agree with who I am or my existence, so that's fun.
And at the same time, you made it obvious so very clearly that you don't agree with that side. So it's okay for you to call out them for potentially being religious, even though you're not sure. But when it comes to you actively saying your beliefs, then they must listen. This is how it works. You must bow to them. Or what would a bull do? Anyway, staying in the activist world, we welcome a trans activist who has some knowledge to drop on a 14-year-old who made the 100% factual statement that only women can breastfeed and have children. Here is a front row seat to how the indoctrination is carefully applied.
You've got so much time to learn and be more open-minded and more kind and accepting towards other people. So let me just really quickly try and tell you why what you're saying is wrong and hurtful. Let's start with only women can give birth. I'm a man, and I'm going to give birth, so you're already wrong there. But there are also lots of other people who are non-binary or intersex, and they give birth. And again, they're not women. Then the term breastfeeding versus chest feeding, well, for some people, it's actually just more comfortable to call it chest feeding. Some women who have experienced trauma or been abused, they might prefer the term chest feeding. But then we loop back around to not all birthing people are women, so not all birthing people have breasts. Hence the term chest feeding. I understand that your opinions and your beliefs may be deep-rooted and ingrained in whatever your parents have taught you to believe, and that's okay. You still have plenty of time to form your own opinions and even educate others in your life.
I understand that what you may be viewing as your beliefs is actually what was indoctrinated into you, so I'm still going to hold on to what is true and look at history for not just a couple years, more like centuries of time, and also science. Because if you say you're a man, but you're going to give birth, that means you're a female. Reality hits you hard sometimes, kind of like that nose ring. There's a theme today. Anyway, did you know that there is now something called period poverty? Yep, period poverty. And apparently it mostly affects people who aren't women, but are really women. Anyway, let's learn more.
Period poverty doesn't just affect women. Two-spirits, trans men, non-binary people, and genderqueer people can all have periods. And arguably, period poverty may be higher in these populations. Here's why. You ever seen a tampon dispenser or a box of free tampons in a men's bathroom? What about a period aisle not labeled feminine hygiene or pink boxes all around it? Periods can be a really tough and dangerous time for people that aren't cisgender women. So if you're donating period products or putting them out in your workplace or school, make sure they're in all bathrooms. Or at least that all people have access to these products. Because blood has no gender, baby.
Yeah. So what she's trying to argue here is that you should have all of your period products, as she calls it, paid for. What about all the women who've, since the beginning of time, have dealt with and worked through having their period and getting the period products? We've been able to do it just fine. So all of you who think you're no longer women, that you're other things, but you still get your period, bring the products yourselves, like we've been doing since the beginning of time. All right, we're going to finally wrap things up with pronouns, because period to pronouns, why not, right? With more than 1.5 million, basically, kinds of pronouns being used around the world, why not just go in the opposite direction and say that no pronouns will be used at all? Yep, that will teach us to follow yet another made-up rule. Here we go.
Whether you're agender, non-binary, or just no pronouns align with you, you can use no pronouns. This means instead of using any pronouns to describe this person, you would be using their full name. I'll use myself for an example. Knowing my pronouns are they, them, you would say, oh, they went to the store and then they recorded some TikToks. But if I were to use no pronouns, I would say, oh, Rachel went to the store and then Rachel recorded some TikToks. Some folks who use no pronouns will also sort of abbreviate their name to create their own pronoun. For myself, perhaps I decide that I want my pronoun to be Ray because Rachel is too long for me to say sometimes. Then I would say, Ray went to the store and then Ray recorded some TikToks. That way I'm still not using any pronouns that exist or any gendered pronouns. Instead, I'm almost using my own nickname as a pronoun.
And you're also not using many brain cells, because if you can't say Rachel 2 syllables, then we are just completely doomed as a society. As a civilization. And really, there are about 1.5 million pronouns with this type of nonsense happening. But finally, that is going to wrap up this segment. Now make sure you are sending us some of the craziness that you get to witness out there by emailing media@fpeusa.org. And hey, I want to feature a clip with you. With the clip you send. So if you send us a clip, you'll get a special shout out. It'll be lovely. At least there needs to be something lovely on this segment. But for now, just know that we're going to have a whole lot more craziness next time. Until then, stay sane.